Can you talk about, like, when we're looking at different franchise concepts, there's like emerging brands, and can you like tell us like what might be considered? So they call, for people out there that don't know, they call these units, right? So like we want to know how, like, initially, how many units? Do they only have four franchisees, or do they have 4,000 or 400, right? And so what's the difference between like one that would, you say, how many units do they have to be like considered established, well versed, versus like, hey, this new fitness hot yoga studio is emerging. It's only got six, but it's really hot. Like, what can you kind of walk us through that process a little bit?
Yeah, so those are actually called, so we look at it as stages of growth of a franchise, and there is going to be pros and cons of each one of them. I used to think, so when I didn't have any franchise knowledge, I used to think that if I was going to buy a franchise, that it had to be like super established, that it had to have hundreds of units. Otherwise, why would I get into a franchise? But in reality, there's a lot more to it. There are businesses that develop the model so well to the point that when they become a franchise, they are so well established as a business that if you would be crazy not to look at it. So we look at the how capitalized the franchisor is, how much experience they have as a business, and how well they're set up to help their franchisees growing. So there are a lot of benefits in entering in a new system of a franchise. Well, first of all, which is probably the obvious, you would have availability in your area, and you would have plenty of availability in your area. So you could essentially find the best possible location. That is very difficult when the brand is too big. When they're too big, then they're probably going to be saturated. They're not going to have the availability in the exact zip code that you're looking for. So that can be very frustrating. But if you're dealing with a newer franchise model, that tends to be one of the huge pros of the brand. Then the other thing that people don't think about is having direct access to the founder of the company. So it's almost like you're one of the first franchisees. So you get special treatment, you get special attention from the franchisor. So when you're growing, you're going to have a lot more support. And the franchisor is going to say, and this is usually how they think about this, they're like, these are my first 10 franchisees, so I have to make sure that they do extremely well. So that is one thing that makes it very, very attractive, is that you are growing in a new model. But if the business is a good business, if the franchisor is set up well, you have a very, very high chance of succeeding. It can go the other way too. There are new franchises that are just not ready to grow, and we are able to identify that. So that is the beauty of working with a franchise association company, is that we can quickly tell if the brand is growing too fast, if the brand is offering franchises to anyone, as long as they have the capital. So are they qualifying the right people? Do they have enough people to support the franchisees as they grow? Is this a good business model? So those are the pros and the cons, I would say, of the newer model. But a well-established brand is going to be anything over. So when you look at the bell curve, it's going to be 100 locations or 100 units or more. That's what we call the plug and play models. Those are the franchises that are very successful. They have hundreds of franchisees, which is very good for someone who's a little bit more risk averse. So for those types of buyers, they may be looking at it as, you know what, I want to be able to be part of a system that I can validate with a lot of people. that the business has been replicated over and over again. But then the challenges that you might face is that they're probably going to be saturated in your market. You're probably going to have a hard time finding territory. You may find maybe one, and it's not going to be in the area that you're looking for. So, we have to kind of analyze all of them, but franchises are like a bell curve. You have your brand new ones, and then you have the ones that are in the growth sector, which are going to be from 50 to 100. And then once you hit the top of the bell curve, that's when you reach the plug and play franchises. And believe it or not, the empire brands, which are going to be your Subway, your McDonald's, your Burger King, they're going down in the bell curve because those brands are usually not accessible, not available. They're only going to be offering franchises to existing franchisees, and they have a waiting list, and a lot of times even the system has to be revamped and restructured like they had to do with Subway. So those are going to be almost impossible to get into, and they're also very expensive, which is okay because most brands are going to be in the actual growth sector.
Very good. So that's good.
Are you trying to escape the W-2 rat race? Or have you always wanted to own your own business? Have you ever thought about owning a franchise? If so, FranUniversity.com can help. Our training program teaches you everything you need to know about franchise ownership, from choosing the right franchise to launching and running your business. We have the resources and specialists to help you from A to Z. You'll gain the skills and knowledge you need to succeed as a franchise owner. The best part? It's free to join. Go to FranUniversity.com.
Hey guys, Beau Amanda here. If you enjoyed what you saw, please subscribe to this channel. We talk all things financing. I've been in the lending industry for over 20 years, and I'm happy to answer your questions and provide great content.